Yo, what is going on, guys? Freight Trades here, bringing you another new weekly stock watch list. Before we get started, though, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it here at Stock Hours. With that much more being said, though, let's go ahead and dive into the watch list. So, going into this week, we do have more tech earnings around the corner here. As far as the main stocks that we look at in this chat, really the only ones I'm really considering looking at for an after earnings play or giving an eye would be Microsoft, Meta. Those are reporting Wednesday after close. And then Amazon and Apple reporting Thursday after close. So most of these stocks won't be playable for me, honestly. I mean, some other honorable mentions that we could keep an eye out for would be Spotify. Spotify is always one that people talk about that's opening before market open on Tuesday, so that could provide some crazy play for us. And then maybe Visa, Starbucks. I mean, maybe something with those stocks, right? I don't really look at them, but every now and then they provide some sort of good after earnings move. But for the meantime, the biggest ones would obviously be Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, and Apple reporting for this week. So if anything else comes up, you guys know that we'll update you in the WAP chat with Stock Hours chat in there if anything does come up. So without much more being said, I'm sure you guys are excited for the weekly stock watch list. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. So if we go to ES here on the 1 year or the 4 hour, we can see that we are getting back into a massive consolidation we had broken out of before the whole tariff situation started happening. So you can see that we actually ended up coming back into this range that we broke from 5550 from 5,000 and then below that. Now that we're going back above it and we closed right around 5550, you can see that we are right back in this massive consolidation or congestion zone. So for the meantime, I'm going to keep things pretty simple. You know, it's the weekend. Anything can happen over the weekend, even on a Sunday. Anything can happen. Trump could say something crazy. Anything can happen, man. Everything's on the table when Trump's in presidency. So for the meantime, keep things pretty simple with ES and NQ as far as levels and areas go. For the meantime, on ES, I will be looking at 5550 and then 5600. And the only other thing that I would mention to keep an eye out for would be this 30-minute trend line here on the 30-minute time frame that we have rejected twice off of. You guys know my rules with trend lines. From its starting point, it needs to touch more than 2 times for me in order to respect the trend line or to validate it. So exactly doing that right here in this scenario. If I go to NQ here on the 30-minute as well, you guys can see, let me bring up the /NQ. You guys can see it has the exact same pattern here as well, which gives it up room all the way up to around 19,650. Now with NQ, same scenario with ES. They're both mimicking each other right now. You can see we're kind of pushing back into this area. Only NQ is further ahead than ES in my opinion. So going back into this area, we can see that we were stuck in a range within a range, and now that we're going back into that original range that we broke down from, is going to be important to see if we happen to just push past it with all the with positive news we've been getting recently with Trump lifting a lot of the tariffs and having negotiations with other countries, or whatever the case is going to be with that. So my levels with NQ, pretty straightforward. I'm going to be keeping an eye out for 19,600 and see if we can get a close above this going into Monday or whatever we are currently at night here on Sunday. So 19,600 along with that 30-minute uptrend that I had just shown you guys that mimics ES. So as far as the watch list goes, I'll go over the side watch list. There isn't really too much cooking on my plate right now, if I'm being honest. It is a pretty bland watch list. First thing, this is kind of like an honorable mention, will be Apple. Now, I know we always talk about around the channel that we don't like to trade stocks that have earnings. Apple's one of the very few exceptions because of how much liquidity the stock has, along with its options volume with at least same week expirations. So Apple here, pretty straightforward setup. We have a gap from 213 to 221. Obviously not looking to play the entire thing, but we do have some decent room on this. So we happen to come up. This may be something I may consider. Not that I'm going to play it, but it's something I may consider this on Apple. So pretty straightforward setup there. Next up is AMD. If I go to AMD here, if I go to the 4 hour or the 1 hour, you guys probably saw it there on the daily as well. We have a flat top across 98. Now, I do like AMD, but I do believe that this is really behind the market right now with where we are currently sitting at with NQ and ES. So for the meantime, I will be keeping an eye out for this, but it needs to set up in such a specific way, and that order would have to be, the market would have to either open up flat or down, gap down overnight and stay like that into Monday morning, or sometime during this week, and then AMD needs to stay flat or be ahead of the market and be green with where it closed at the day previously. So that's the way that I would have to play AMD because, like I said, I do believe this is behind the market, but this flat top at 98 does look really good if it happens to pick up its own strength and not needing the market's help for anything of it. So next up is Netflix. Netflix being the absolute stock of the week here for us at Stock Hours. think Nor signaled one 100% play on Netflix. No, I believe 2 100% signals on Netflix this week, and then 150% one. And then he signaled a Tesla 100% trade on Friday. So it was a really, really insane week. It was something like that. I don't have the notes on me right now, but it was something like that to that extent. So obviously, Netflix still being on our watch list here on smaller time frames. We don't have to go to the bigger time frames because these are all-time high levels. There's something to chart here. It's all going to be trend lines, reading the tape. A lot of this will be coming down to skill, and if you're a good price action reader, you're going to benefit a lot with Netflix, like we have in stock hours. So. Going with Netflix here, though, I will be looking at the all-time high here at 1108, where we currently have close to a flat top. Close, not really, but I would be looking for a play at 1108 into 1110. Just keeping things really simple, looking for scalps, just keeping things at the bare minimum here on Netflix. So last but not least would be Tesla. Now Tesla is a different story. It's pretty short, obviously, but Tesla had been stuck in this range for a while, and you guys can see where I was talking about on Friday where Nora could have signaled a 100% trade. You guys, I mean, it's more than telling where he could have signaled at some point in this, but multiple trades, added, sold, added. It was a long day for sure, but he took advantage of it for sure. I took advantage of it. Pretty great day. So going with Tesla here, I'm going to keep it pretty simple because of this breaking out on Friday. Who knows where this is going to open up tomorrow morning on Monday. I look to plan to keep things simple. Like I said, there's no reason to chart super in depth over the weekend because anything can happen. Any news, anything can drop. So for the meantime, I'm going to keep an eye out for on Tesla at 290 and then 292. I do like these intraday highs that we've been making on Tesla because that's what we were scalping a lot on Friday after Nor signaled his 100% trade. I do like these levels, but it would need to be ahead of the market, and it depends where this is going to open up pre-market as well. So I don't want to go super in depth with these levels just because, like I said, anything can happen. But if you are part of the Stock Hours chat, you guys will get the first-hand bit of news along with that. So, but yeah, that is about it, guys. That's about it for the watch list. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. With that much more being said, hope you guys enjoyed the rest of your Sunday and stay safe. And before you go, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it. And yeah, take care, guys.